wanted to show you how to grease your front caster bearings and also your wheel bearings. This happens to be a 48-inch Hustler Trim Star, but almost all zero-turn mowers are going to be almost identical to doing this. So the very first thing that you want to do is, there may be a plug right here. It may just be a bolt. A lot of the manufacturers just put bolts in here. As you see, this is a Zerk fitting. You will have to determine what size Zerk fitting you need. So if you want to take the bolt out, take it up to the hardware store and match it up with the threads on the Zerk fitting. You'll see that there's one there and also one right there. So it's on each caster. So once you get your Zerk fitting installed, or maybe you already have one, you will also see that there is, pardon me, another Zerk fitting right here. This is for the wheel bearings. Okay, so you want to make sure to take a paper towel and clean the area, especially right here. Okay, because that's where we're going to be injecting the grease. Now, 99% of all mowers are going to have these caps on the top. You do not want to just take your grease gun and grease this up right here without removing the cap. And the reason is because the pressure of the grease will probably blow this cap off. All right, so you need to clean this up. I'm just taking a paper towel and cleaning up around the edge. You can take a this is just a small brass brush. Just gently clean around there like that, and it will get a lot more of the debris out. There's going to be some when we take the cap off anyway, but we just want to minimize the chance of getting any of the debris from out here inside the caster area. Now, this is where people make a mistake. This cap right here is just pressed on. So what you want to do is you want to try something like this. This is not a screwdriver. This is actually a little pry bar. This is what I normally will use, and we'll try that first before we go to something that's a little sharper. So I'm just going to very gently hit it. See how it's starting to pop up? And you can just pry it up. If you can get it up under there, and do it equally as much as you can around the circumference, because if you just try to pry it all up on one side, it may very well deform or bend the cap. So I'm kind of just rocking it up. Okay, there we go. And that's what the cap looks like. So I'm going to make sure to clean this thoroughly before I put it back on. All right, down inside there are the bearings, and the kind of grease that I'm going to use, I use this for everything. This is Conklin's Rhino grease. I've been using this stuff for years. This is probably the most durable grease I've ever used in my life, but any grease is better than no grease at all, but please use the correct grease. Just look in your owner's manual. Usually it's going to be like a, I think this is like a GL Type 2 or something, but just look in your owner's manual. The grease that you would use for U-joints and stuff like that will work perfectly fine. So this is a lock and lube end, so I'm just going to put that on there. It'll automatically grab and stay on there. And I've got my grease gun right here, and I'm just going to put the camera right here. I'm just going to start squeezing grease in there. See it raising up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, there's no water in here and there's no dirt. Okay, so if there's a lot of water and dirt, in here, you would want to get that out first. But that's pretty much what it's going to look like. Notice it's below the level of the edge of the caster right here. Alright, so I'm just going to take a clean finger and just wipe this around. Get that off. Okay. Now also under here, right under here, you want to make sure that you may have some grease come out here. There's a tiny little bit because that is part of that bolt that's in there. There's a bolt that holds this entire caster assembly on. So just take a clean paper towel and just wipe it like that. See, there's hardly any on there. And then I'm just going to clean this like this. All right. And then I'm going to take my top cap and get all the old grease off. And dirt, you can use some brake parts cleaner if you want, which would work really well. But this is not that dirty. But I do want to make sure to get the dirt and stuff that's right here on the edge. Okay, and then make sure that's clean. Alright, so that's what you want. And then you want to place this right like that. And you'll need to take your hammer and very gently start tapping around the circumference. Now, alternative to this, it's probably better to use a rubber mallet. Then there's no chance at all of damaging this. And then wipe that off right there. Now that caster's done. So now, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure this is clean. Alright. Take the grease gun. Put it right there. And I'm just going to see how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Why did I put 20? Well, I'm looking for grease to start coming out of the sides. You don't want a ton of grease coming out because, well, if you do, it's just a mess to clean up. You don't want grease all in here because what's going to happen is the dust and dirt and grass and all that's going to collect and it's just going to make a mess. So make sure if you do see some grease coming out of here that you just wipe it off with your paper towel. So that's it. That's the wheel bearing and the caster on this side. So let's do the other side. All right, so you see for me demonstrating how easy this is, this literally would take you less than 5 minutes to do both of these. It's very important to do, at least do this annually. You want to make sure there's no water in here, and you want to make sure that the grease level is where it needs to be, and you will make these casters and wheel bearings last a very, very long time. All right, well, hopefully that helps you. Let me know in the comments if you maintain your own mower and if you have done this before on your mower, and I will talk to you on the next video.